to my presentation for my EDFR. No. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my presentation for my EDFR Research Methods class. I will be conducting research over UTRGV college students' perceptions evaluations on distance education from the point of technical and educational factors. I will begin by reviewing my introduction and literature review. My introduction starts off with three major factors. The technology and its various uses are leaving our classrooms more connected than ever. There are many advantages and disadvantages that need to be looked at when it comes to technology and being able to improve quality in educational distance education courses. Now, importance of exploring this topic is basically to increase level of understanding and cognition in the distance education. I have set up my literature review into major sections. The first section is the student learner, and the student learner has a lot of flexibility and student satisfaction that contribute to or are received when there's a well-structured web-based course. The quality is improved, distance learning is improved, but if it's not improved and it's not structured well, student dropouts have been seen in research from graduate level programs. So there is a lot of need to investigate the study and help to structure web-based courses. The next section is the distance education instructor. I have used examples of how technology has improved and helped students in this section by giving an example with Skype in a master's program that has helped students to be able to work together over long distances, to be able to work in group methods. Technology and its potential to enhance the student's learning experience has the potential, really helps overall when it comes to the structure. So it's imperative that instructors need to understand technology to be able to give the impact that it can and to potentially produce really well-structured courses. I will be revisiting a study that I found that was published in Turkey, and I compared the Turkey distance education to U.S. education when it comes to research. And what I found is that the Turkey happens to push for initiatives to enhance quality of distance learning courses. They have been able to increase their distance learners by 15%, but the US is actually found to be the leading country to advance distance education. Therefore, they have the potential to provide a lot of insight in improving the structuring the distance learning education courses. Educational and technology factors happen to be major factors that contribute to quality learning. So these factors can play a huge role and can affect students' decisions overall when it comes to pursuing online factors. Therefore, with this in mind, it's imperative to take educational technology, ensure that student learner needs are supported, otherwise they will decrease, and further investigate the study. Okay, so the importance of the study comes down to when producing distance education learning materials, a lot of the time we only look at the learning materials and focus on them. It's imperative that we take everything into account, and what I mean by everything, I mean the student learner experience and what they encounter, because that as well is part of the program, not just the learning materials. Therefore, I will be revisiting this study in Turkey and evaluating students' perceptions on distance education based on educational and technology factors. The DEQ that was used, the design instrument, the questionnaire was made during the original study, so I will be also using it to revisit and ensure its reliability. The purpose of this study, given the differences between US and Turkish students and findings that reliability of instrument can be increased with retesting, the study will investigate the following research question. Do US students prefer face-to-face learning or distance learning from the point of technology and educational factors? In my methods section, my participants are going to be 60 participants selected from the University of Texas Pan American. There will be 20 students taken from 3 different graduate level programs. 20 students will be taken from the Masters of Education and Educational Technology program, 20 students will be taken for the Masters of Science in Healthcare Administration program, and 20 students will be taken for Masters of Business Administration program. All of these programs are fully online distance learning courses and have a 2-year completion period range. The instrument, as mentioned before, is the DEQ, which stands for Distance Education Questionnaire. It was conducted and, of course, created by Tolga, which it was in the original study. It happens to be a 5-point Likert scale, ranging from strongly agree to disagree. Therefore, it measures 2 different factors, which are the educational and technology factors, which were mentioned in the literature review. And this questionnaire will be distributed to students who have completed their respective 2-year graduate program. It will be distributed online versus the in-person approach using SurveyMonkey and the student school emails. In order to analyze the data and ensure the reliability of the DEQ instrument, I will be analyzing the data in the same approach that was done in the original study. So by doing this, I will take the items that I receive in the questionnaire, and they will be grouped into 2 factors, technical and educational. The mean from each item response will be taken, and a percentage will be derived from the addition of the agrees and the disagrees. These percentages will determine the highest resulting opinion to each item. The anticipated results are going to be set up in a table that looks something similar to this. And what you will see is the items from every single questionnaire item, that was given to the students, and their percentage based off of what they agreed or disagreed on. Now, I have altered some expected percentages based off of the structure that UTRGV and the United States has when it comes to technical and educational factors. So there are some percentages that have been shifted around here in terms of anticipated results. The second table that you see here are also anticipated results, but these are for the educational factor. And again, you have the items specific here that are specific to the educational factor, as you saw in the technology factor, and those items listed there in that table. The anticipated discussion, overall, the items in the questionnaire are relatable to students in the U.S. programs. Therefore, the items responses probably won't be really identical, given that there may not be any cultural clash. Students will be able to respond based off of their structure. And given that the structures are different, and U.S. is the leading country in producing distance education, I don't see that there will be similar responses to the questionnaire, especially since at UTRGV there is support provided through Blackboard department, and professors' response time is set to 24 hours. This has to have an impact on the results, because there's not going to be as many technological glitches that the original study saw in their results. With the combined results of both factors, our anticipated results may show that students may have a slight increase in preference to online distance learning courses based off of the educational and technology factors. In terms of my probable conclusion, I decided to take a look at what we could do to improve the study. In this case, in a probable conclusion, I would say that the possible outcome to the study is that it'll still need to be restudied. And this is not just because it has anticipated results, and was not completely fully studied, but because of the fact that the DEQ instrument needs to be retested to ensure its reliability. Not to mention, a lot of other instruments and approaches can be used to further the study and this topic, and to further investigate it. There are multiple strategies that can be explored and implemented in distant learning courses to close the gaps between face-to-face and online courses. Therefore, to conclude, based off of the anticipated and probable conclusions mentioned, there are still much more to explore before quality distance education may have the chance to become mainstream. This is an example of the references that I used here for my paper. This is the second example of the references used. In this section, this is the EDFR 6300 slide as to what I was able to get out of this course. In this particular course, I happen to actually have a background when it comes to the qualitative studies and methods. So a lot of this stuff was kind of a review of what I had experienced in my undergrad, but it was a really good way of, in this class, I was able to see qualitative studies from an educational standpoint. Can be argued that the science and approach and educational approach could be similar or different, but overall, I did find some interesting learning items. But overall, it was very familiar. It was a bit of a refresher. But what I did learn, I thought I could really take away from, was the mixed method research. The mixed method research I thought was very interesting. I really didn't completely understand qualitative research very much, given that I wasn't exposed to it that much in my undergraduate. So I really found the mixed method research very interesting, especially since it has a lot of insightful approaches that you can use to learn about research and investigate your topic further when it comes to the qual method, or maybe the quant method. Action research also stood out to me, and I learned a lot about it. I really didn't know a lot about action research. I didn't really, to be honest, I didn't know about it at all. I honestly associated research with just post-secondary professors, university level type of research. I didn't know that a lot of teachers were in the K through 12 level would take action research and use it a lot in their classrooms. After reviewing it and reading what it is and how teachers use it and looking at examples, I realized that I myself, as a science teacher, in my experience, have actually used it as well. This is more or less everything that I have kind of learned from the course. I want to thank all the students that have given their insightful opinions and suggestions when it came to the discussion boards, and I look forward to having any of you again in my courses, in future courses. And I thank the professor for a very insightful and knowledgeable course and experience through this semester. Thank you and have a wonderful day.